thanks for stopping by. So this is episode 8 of my antique tool series. Today we have two totally separate items to look at. One is this timing light, the other is this slide hammer nail puller. We also have a sticker time. So we'll start with the timing light, do the sticker time, and then we'll move on to the nail puller. So come on in closer, we'll take a look. So item number one is this Snap-on MT215B timing light. I couldn't find much online about this timing light when it was manufactured. And like most of my tools, I don't know where I got this. My guess is that, well, when I was a kid, my father had a timing light, but it wasn't this one. So I think I might have bought this years ago, back in from the mid 90s to like mid 2000s. So for about a 10-year period, I had a 1953 Dodge Coronet with a 241 Red Ram Hemi engine in it. So I might have bought this for that car, and I might have used it, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I ever used this or not. It is missing the there should be two alligator clamps here, and one of the reasons why I don't recall using this is I don't know how to use this one. So it's been a long time since I've used a timing light, and I remember the basics. But this one I don't remember. The one that my father had when I was a kid, I think that fit right into the boot on the spark plug wire for the number one cylinder. And I think there was one clamp, one clip that went on to ground somewhere. This one has two clips here, and I don't know where they go. I'm guessing one probably goes to ground and one might go to the battery. And then this must clamp around the spark plug wire. Oh, and coincidentally enough, since it's a Snap-on tool, I just made my final payment on it this month. Just kidding. But I couldn't find much online about this. What I saw, there was one website I went to said these were manufactured from the 1950s and 1960s. And then another website had the date from the 1960s and 1970s. And this looks more like a late 60s into 1970s styling. I don't think it was late 50s, but I could be wrong. So I couldn't find a whole lot on this. So if anybody's got any information, I'd be glad to hear it. And again, I'm not sure how it gets set up on there, so that's one reason why I don't think I ever used it. It looks like this just goes around the spark plug wire. And again, the one that we had when I was a kid, my father had, I thought that clipped right into the boot on the spark plug wire. But I could be wrong. So again, this is a Snap-on MT215B 6 and 12 volt timing light. So, I'm just thinking about it. Since this was 6 or 12 volt, maybe this was made in the 1950s. Because by the 1960s, there really weren't too many 6 volt systems still around. It says Snap-on Tools Corporation, Kenosha, Wisconsin. So maybe it was the 1950s. All right, so let's get on to sticker time. Okay, it's sticker time. I've got one here to open up. This came in probably a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now. I've just been so busy. I haven't had much time to do anything for YouTube. So I'm real happy to finally get this open. It's been sitting on my desk in the house since I got it a week or two ago. I know where it came from. It came from across the pond. So let me get to opening this. I've got my the dullest knife on YouTube. So Noel at Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood has the sharpest knife on YouTube. Dave at RCAF Polar Express has, I don't know, I forget what he calls it, the nicest, the best knife on YouTube. I've got the dullest knife on YouTube. This is really just a letter opener. So let me open this up. Looks like a nice letter here. So it says, "Dear Rick, thank you very much for watching my videos and supporting my channel. I enjoy watching your videos and your video series on old tools. And your series on old tools is very interesting. I am busy with preparing for school exams at the moment, but once they are over in the summer, I should have more time. One of the things I would like to do over the summer is get my old record planes out and take some pictures to send to you, as they are very similar to your planes. Over here in the UK, it is still very wet and our field is still underwater." Same here. And so this is from Joseph at Garden Tractor Boy out of the United Kingdom. So Joseph, I still have the same situation here. And my two grandsons wanted to go for a ride on the tractor the other day, and I had to tell them that we couldn't go out because the ground is too soft. So he says, over here in the UK, it is still very wet and our field is still underwater. I hope your weather is not as wet and you have no further flooding. Well, yeah, there's still flooding going on. I did some videos on the flooding, and I'm waiting to see the new owner of the abutting parcel and have a nice friendly conversation with them to see if they'd be willing to divert the ditch work that the prior owner did to put all the water onto my property. And so Joseph goes on and says, "It is always interesting to see how long it takes for stickers to get to you in America. Post from your side of the Atlantic tends to take 2 to 3 weeks to reach us." And so Joseph, you should be receiving my sticker any day now, because I mailed it out a couple of weeks ago. So you should be getting it anytime if you haven't received it already. And he signs off, "Best wishes, Joseph and Dad, also known as Ian, or also known as the cameraman." So here are Joseph's stickers. One here. And the other here. So both really nice stickers. So they'll be going on the board right here. So Joseph and Dad, or the cameraman, have a fantastic channel. Again, it's Garden Tractor Boy. They have a large fleet of garden tractors, mostly Bolins. I don't remember exactly how many they have, but this sticker here will give you a good idea. You can see there are a number of garden tractors in the photograph there, and that's not even all of them. I think there are some that aren't even shown in that photograph. So the vast majority are Bolin's tractors. I think they have a wheel horse as well, and a few others. I don't remember what they are now. Oh, and this, right now they're working on a, I think it's the 1961 Bolin's Ride-O-Matic. They're in the process of restoring the PTO for that 1961 Bolin's. And I think it might be this one, or they bought another one. That's the 1961 Boland's there, Ride-O-Matic. And I can't remember if it's the PTO on this tractor or another one that they bought. I think it might be the other one. They're restoring the PTO on that. So they normally post their videos on Saturday afternoon, my time, in the Eastern time zone for the U.S. So I always look forward to watching their videos on Saturday afternoon as soon as they come out, if I have time, or I try to get it by Sunday at the very latest. I always look forward to sitting down and watching what they do. They have some great methods to manufacture parts that they can't find for their tractors. They have a nice machine shop set up on their property so they can manufacture a lot of the parts that they can't locate somewhere. So these stickers are going to go on the board back there. So let me bring you in a little closer and we'll put these on the board. So I think what I'm going to do is put one over here somewhere. Maybe right here. And then the other right up here. I think that'll work. So let's get this peeled. Yeah, but I don't have any fingernails. All right, so we'll put this one right up here. So Joseph, this one's going right next to Noel at Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. And right above RCAF Polar Express. And then the other, again, I'm going to find some fingernails here. Come on. I might have to stop the camera or edit this out. Here we go. Got it. All right. And then the other's going to go down here. Just like that. There we go. Looks good. Those are really nice stickers. And so the second item is this Cyclops slide hammer nail puller. This one is manufactured by Union Hardware Company out of Torrington, Connecticut in the USA. I don't have a date for this. This was my father's, and I remember it being old when I was a kid. And somehow I inherited this from him. And I think I've told the story before that a lot of our tools kind of got intermingled over the years. I had bought my old tools and he had some of mine, I had some of his. Then he retired to Tennessee. I think he took what he had and I kept whatever I had in my house. So I ended up with this. So the Union Hardware Company was started in 1854 in Torrington, Connecticut. And like so many other companies, it lasted till like the 1930s, and it was bought by another company. Maybe the 1950s, it was bought by another company, which was bought by another company. And the Union Hardware Company primarily made sporting good equipment. They made roller skates and golf club shafts and ice skates. Somehow they made this nail puller. Now, you can tell this is old because one, it was made in the USA, and two, there aren't any caution stickers applied to it. And I learned, and every once in a while, I'm reminded to keep my hand out of the slide area, because boy, that can hurt. So you have to keep your hand down here. I usually hold it like this, or maybe like this, depending on how much force I have to put into it. But if you keep your hand up too high, you're gonna get pinched. And it hurts when this comes down. It really hurts. So you gotta keep your hand down low on it. So for those that don't know what this does, again, it's a nail puller. So this is a great way to pull nails out of woodwork, boards, things that you don't want to damage too much. So if the nail is recessed into the board, you can't get a cat's paw in there to pull it out, or a claw hammer to pull it out. You use the slide hammer, and so you open up the two jaws down here, place it around the head of the nail, bring this down, and it'll dig into the wood. And then you got the lever here. You pull back. When you pull back, the jaws will pinch close underneath the head of the nail, or it'll grab the shaft of the nail, the shank of the nail, and then this gives you plenty of leverage. And you pull up, pulls the nail out. Again, it'll do minimal damage to the wood. So if you want to save that wood, this does an excellent job. It'll just leave a little indent, and then you can always fill that in later if you need to. Now this one's worn a little bit. There used to be a stop on this. You can see it comes apart now. There used to be a stop somewhere in here, so it wouldn't come all the way off. This wouldn't slide all the way off. But that wore out or something over the years. I think it might have been some little nubs right here at the end of this shaft that kept it from popping out. I don't remember now. I just know one day I was using it and I pulled it up hard and it came right off. So that's when I found out that something was worn on it. But I pulled, boy, I don't know, thousands of nails with this. It does a great job. So back about 15 years ago, I did some demolition work with my son. I was trying to get him some work. And knew some people that wanted an old camp, hunting camp, demolished. So we demolished that. And there were maybe one or two other jobs that we demolished. But my son didn't really have a lot of interest in that. So we let it go. But we used this slide hammer nail pull on those demolition jobs, and I used it a lot around the barn here when I restored this a few years ago. I also used it a lot on some house restorations I was doing, house repairs I was doing on my previous house. So this has seen a lot of action, and it still works well. Now, I researched this model online to see when I could get a manufacture date, and I couldn't find anything online. I'm guessing this was probably, just by the looks of it, I'd say late 1800s or early 1900s. It's heavy. It's all looks like cast iron. You can see, it's not showing up too well here, but you can see the stamping in the handle there. Now it looks pretty old to me. Now it might date into the 1940s. That's what it was called, Cyclops. Now it could date into the 1940s. And as I've mentioned in other videos, a lot of my tools that I got from my father date back to the 1940s. Because that's when he was buying most of his tools. after the war. He started working with his father in construction. It may have been my grandfather's too. He may have had it since the early 20s. I don't know. I can't get a manufacture date on it. I don't see a manufacture date anywhere on it, or even any kind of clue. So I don't know how far back it dates. If anybody's got any information on it, I'd be glad to know. So that concludes episode 8 of my Antique Tools series. I appreciate you watching. If it's your first time here, thanks for visiting. Leave a comment. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.